Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a first look at Shadow Toucannon with its brand new Calm Day legacy move, Beak Blast. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, the one and only Smudgy B, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now Beak Blast is an amazing charge attack, 110 damage, 55 energy, so 2 damage per energy, and every time you throw it, it's guaranteed to lower your opponent's attack. Now, considering Toucannon is pretty glassy, being able to lower your opponent's damage output is really helpful. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and take a look at Shadow Toucannon in the Ultra League. Tough lead in the first match, Kyurem into Florges. This is not where Kyurem wants to be, Kyurem farming up, but before he can go for the Glaciate, the opponent's just going to go for the Chilling Water. Chilling Water will apply a debuff, but a quick switch into the Corviknight will reset the debuff and save that energy for later. Now, Corviknight will fire off an Air Cutter at this Florges, not going to do much, no debuff comes through, and the opponent is going to save the Florges and bring out Drifblim. Drifblim is really not going to appreciate payback. This is big super effective damage, so the shield does come up. Drifblim, this is not the Shadow, so honestly, its Astonishes are not adding up. Corviknight is still very healthy. Corviknight no shield, Shadow Ball is going to land, Corviknight is going to make payback number 2, really ramping up the pressure onto the opponent. This payback is going to be connecting, aggressive switch into the Kyurem, and Kyurem combo plays with the Glaciate. Glaciate into the Drifblim is going to force the shield. Drifblim actually does throw the energy, but this is debuffed energy, so Kyurem doesn't have a reason to shield. Back in comes the Florges. Florges banked energy from earlier, and Florges will go for the Chilling Water. Chilling Water going to be debuffing the Kyurem. Kyurem still barely able to withstand the Fairy Winds, and leave with a parting gift of a debuffed Glaciate. But now it's time. Shadow Toucannon hits the field. The opponent is debuffed, but Toucannon's going to have to shield something, so the shield will go up on the Chilling Water. Toucannon going to be hit with another Chilling Water, so it's going to be at -2 attack. But Toucannon opts to no shield this one. Opponent sends out Gastrodon, and now we get to take a look at Beak Blast. Toucannon has been double debuffed by Chilling Waters. Look at that animation, and look at that damage. That was -2. 2 stages debuffed. And Beak Blast still almost 2 shots. Oh my goodness. Toucannon gonna be hit with a last-second body slam. Toucannon gets the farm down. In comes the Drifblim. Drifblim simply getting outpaced by the Toucannon. This Drill Peck will easily take the knockout. Toucannon's taken 2 KOs. What's better than 2 KOs? 3 KOs. The full sweep endgame by Shadow Toucannon. And that's a good game. Great lead in the next match, Kyurem into Corviknight, but a Skeledirge save switch will prove to be problematic. A Skeledirge honestly does pretty well against this entire team. Kyurem's going to stay in, chip with the Dragon Claw, but Skeledirge puts up the shield, and that is a problem. Skeledirge highly likely to go for the Torch Song, just looking to boost up its damage more and more. Torch Song is not going to take the knockout, and that's going to let Kyurem make one final charge attack. Dragon Claw is going to land, that is very valuable damage. But whatever gets brought in here is going to have to shield. This is a +1 Torch Song. Whether it's super effective damage on the Corviknight or neutral damage onto the Toucannon, that's still a charge attack that none of these flyers want to take. Opponent, thank goodness they end up mirroring their Corviknight, because Corviknight would obviously be a complete wall to the mono flying charge attacks from the Toucannon. So payback is going to land, opponent going to return fire with a payback of their own, but this is the Ultra League. Payback doesn't hit particularly hard, so that's a pretty comfortable no shield. I imagine at this point the final shield of the match is going to be saved for the Shadow Toucannon, as Toucannon is going to have to put the team on its back and sweep. The opponent was never going to let Smudgy make it to another payback, so he just settles for the Air Cutter, because potentially this could allow the Shadow Toucannon to peck down later in the match. Opponent will deliver the knockout with the payback. In comes the Toucannon, and it's Jellicent in the back. This is basically the perfect Pokemon for the Toucannon to see. Toucannon is going to be no shield in the surf. That connects for some massive damage. And now Toucannon is going to farm up. And let's see this Beak Blast damage. There's no debuffs applied this time. Beak Blast nearly takes the one-hit KO. XL Jellicent barely able to hang on and grab the final shield with Surf. The opponent's 1 HP survive may have actually won them this game, because without a shield to hide behind, I'm not sure if the Toucannon's going to be able to hang on to this Air Cutter. Opponent does have the energy here. It's going to be the Air Cutter. Shadow Toucannon. Can it hang on? It does! Shadow Toucannon. Oh my goodness. 1 HP remaining. Gets the Drill Peck. KOs the Corviknight. And secures the win. Hopping into the next match, picking up a very nice lead, Kyurem into Belly Bolt. Opponent is going to retreat out into Armored Mewtwo, and that's going to be answered with the Corviknight. Armored Mewtwo is a very scary Pokemon in the Ultra League. I believe Armored Mewtwo, if it's able to successfully shield paybacks, can actually win the 2s against Corviknight. Corviknight not messing around, no baits here, going straight for the payback. Payback connects, and that is incredibly important damage for Smudgy, as that should mean that Smudgy should be able to keep switch advantage in this matchup. Another dynamic is going to land. Smudgy farms up. Opponent going to send out the Belly Bolt, but Belly Bolt is right back where it started in a truly terrible matchup. Kyurem gets the spam out Glaciates. Belly Bolt will put up the shield. And Belly Bolt, they get to boost up their defense, but their attack has already been lowered. So the Parabolic Charge really not going to do a lot for the Belly Bolt. And Kyurem has a pacing advantage as well, spamming out another Glaciate. Belly Bolt this time with an O shield, but Belly Bolt is losing so much health. Belly Bolt fires yet another Parabolic Charge, and Kyurem just does not care. These Glaciate debuffs have completely erased any hope Belly Bolt had of ever having an attack stat. Another Glaciate, there's a switch out. In the back is Empoleon, and that would be an absolute nightmare for the Shadow Toucannon. So instead, in comes Corviknight. Corviknight had banked a ton of energy from earlier. Corviknight getting to a second payback. This payback is going to connect, and that is great damage. The opponent will be able to take the knockout here, so Corviknight will get KO'd, but Corviknight absolutely did its job. In comes the Toucannon, able to get the Peck farm down, and now it's Toucannon versus the world. We got low battery notifications popping up mid-battle. Now is not the time, as back in comes Armored Mewtwo. Mewtwo grabs the shield with Psy Strike, in comes Belly Bolt. Belly Bolt is just too far behind, and with how low they are, oh no. I think Belly Bolt is about to get pecked down by a Shadow Toucannon. For the Belly Bolt haters, this is truly a magnificent day. Shadow Toucannon gets the peck down, in comes the Armored Mewtwo, and it's Beak Blast time. Beak Blast, massive overkill, taking down Armored Mewtwo to secure the win. We move to the next game, Kyurem into another Belly Bolt. Back-to-back Belly Bolt leads. This is a Thundershock Belly Bolt, though. Thundershock Belly Bolt, obviously going to have a lot more spam, but everything it has is going to be resisted. Glaciate lands, Belly Bolt continues to stay in. Belly Bolt has farmed up quite a lot of energy. Will they go for the Zap Cannon? The No Shield, there is the Zap Cannon coming out from the Belly Bolt, but Belly Bolt will immediately be put to -2 attack by a second Glaciate. Opponent, they're going to reach for the Zap Cannon, but they cannot get there. They're forced to settle for the Parabolic, and a -2 Parabolic, Kyurem's just never going to care. Kyurem is going to get a nasty Dragon Breath down, exiting with a ton of energy. Opponent sends out Corviknight, and winning switch advantage was very, very important here, because now Smudgy will be able to put his Corviknight on the opponent's, and the Toucannon will avoid a matchup where it is completely walled. Glaciate after Glaciate crashes into the Corviknight. It looks like a third Glaciate will be reached, and that forces the opponent to throw energy. Kyurem putting on an absolute masterclass. Corviknight gets brought in the back is Shadow Dust Noir, and out comes Toucannon. Toucannon farming up quite a bit of energy. Toucannon definitely not going to appreciate a Shadow Dynamic Punch, and the opponent does not go for the bait. For pacing reasons, Toucannon now going to fire off a Drill Peck, as even a Shadow Drill Peck will do a ton of damage. Opponent lets it go. They get absolutely rocked, and in comes the Corviknight. And this poor Corviknight is about to get debuffed courtesy of Beak Blast. Beak Blast lands. That's very respectable damage. Oh my goodness, Smudgy, say it ain't so. The catch of the payback onto the Corviknight. He's going to be Santa tagging down the opponent as they lose with both Protect Shields remaining. We move to the next game, and we've got the Battle of Dragons, Kyurem against Goodra. Goodra is usually, if they're running their typical moveset, completely walled by opposing dragon types. So this is an amazing matchup for the Kyurem. Kyurem able to pull an early shield from the opponent. Opponent now going to send out Gastrodon. Ooh, I love the decision to bank the Glaciate. A ton of energy now loaded on that Kyurem for later, and out comes the Corviknight. Gastrodon can fire off Water Pulse to hit for neutral damage, but Corviknight is still very, very comfortable in this matchup, even giving the opponent such a massive energy head start. So Corviknight just going to be hit with Water Pulse after Water Pulse. If the opponent can get to a third, Corviknight's probably just going to let that go as well. There's the switch from the opponent, sending in the Goodra, but honestly, I think Corviknight is fine to let this go. Thunder Punch will take the knockout, but Kyurem has a Glaciate. Glaciate is big, super effective damage. Opponent is going to no shield, and that is going to hurt. Goodra makes a last-second charge attack, but being debuffed and resisted, that's going to be an easy no shield for the Kyurem. Quick switch into the Toucannon. Toucannon gets a small energy head start. What does the opponent have in the back? They have Credilli. Toucannon farming up to the Beak Blast. Toucannon going to go for a Drill Peck bait. The Drill Peck bait is going to be no shielded. That still does some very, very nice damage. And now Toucannon will probably go the triple Drill Peck route. Toucannon going to be at -1 attack courtesy of that Rock Tomb. There's the switch from the opponent. They switch back into the Gastrodon. But honestly, Gastrodon is still going to get knocked out by the Drill Peck, so the energy still goes places for the Toucannon. Toucannon firing off another Drill Peck at the opponent. There's going to be the switch into the Kyurem, and the opponent just had nowhere to run in that game. Whether they got KO'd by the Drill Peck or the Glaciate, it did not matter. Either way, that's a win. We move to the next match, picking up a very good lead Kyurem into Credilli. Now, in the battle of debuffers that can hit each other for super effective damage, the reason Kyurem emerges victorious is a pretty simple one: pacing. Kyurem is always able to outpace the Credilli and apply the debuffs before the Kyurem gets hit with the super effective Rock Tombs. So, as long as Kyurem ends up matching shields, Kyurem is always going to be winning this matchup. Opponent tries for a Glaciate catch onto their Skeleturge, but they're unsuccessful. Now, Skeleturge will get hit with the Dragon Claw. Again, the backline is pretty soft to Skeleturge as a whole, so even -1 damage is still pretty nice here. Dragon Claw is going to land. Skeleturge going to be under-tapping, presumably going for the Torch Song. Skeleturge does go for the Torch Song. Unfortunately, Kyurem cannot survive, and in comes Toucannon. Toucannon gets a nice peck farm down, but pays a heavy price, as back in comes Credilli. Credilli does have a lot of loaded energy. The shield comes up from Toucannon. Toucannon farming up quite a bit. Toucannon not going to bait, going straight for the Beak Blast here, really trying to punish a no-shield Beak Blast. No, it does get shielded, and there's going to be a very nice catch, able to save that Toucannon and make the catch onto the Corviknight. Opponent going to send out, what is this doing here? A Shadow Gardevoir. Out comes a Shadow Gardevoir. What an absolute jump scare. There was many things I was expecting to see in the back. Maybe a Florges, like basically anything other than a Shadow Gardevoir. Shadow Gardevoir goes for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does not put them into farm down range. Corviknight barely hangs on, makes the Air Cutter, takes the knockout, and it's time. Bring back in the Toucannon, and there's just no hope for Credilli. All debuffs have been reset. Beak Blast takes the knockout, and that's a good game. Hopping into the next match, Kyurem into Credilli once again. So the same lead playing out. We've seen this matchup. We know it's a very nice matchup for the Kyurem. Kyurem going to strike first with the Glaciate. Last opponent did end up shielding early. This opponent is going to play it the same way. And if you're Kyurem, as long as your opponent shields, you're very comfortable shielding back because you know you'll always outpace. Opponent is going to save switch into Jellicent, and Jellicent is going to be swiftly answered with the Shadow Toucannon. Toucannon, not a big fan of the surf damage, but Toucannon is going to look to try and deliver a knockout here with the Beak Blast. We know Beak Blast hits for massive damage. Beak Blast is going to connect devastating damage onto that Jellicent. Even with the Beak Blast attack drop, Surf will still be knocking out the Toucannon, but this just gives an opportunity for Kyurem to get farm. In the back, this is trouble as Talonflame is revealed to be the final Pokemon. Kyurem definitely likes being up energy here, but if the Talonflame ever ends up seeing the Corviknight, then things are going to get bad very, very quickly. Glaciate does get shielded. Opponent now at -2 on their Talonflame. The no shield comes out. It's a flame charge from the Talon. Can Kyurem make it to a move? Kyurem, not going to get there. Forced to pivot out and send in the Corviknight. Corviknight is able to make the Air Cutter. Is this going to be enough? Air Cutter lands. Talonflame hangs on, but Corviknight gets the boost. That boosted sand attack should take the knockout. Talonflame only going to get one of its charge attacks. Back in comes the Credilli, but the Kyurem can make a Glaciate, so they know the game is over and they will resign the match. We move to the next game. I believe this is the final match, and it's going to be Kyurem into Bellibolt, a matchup at this point we are very, very familiar with. Bellibolt's going to be staying in this lead matchup. We've seen all Belly stay in so far, which is a pretty big surprise, because Bellibolt is just absolutely awful into Kyurem. They will eventually pivot out, saving the energy, but they pivot into Cresselia, which meets a brick wall named Corviknight. Corviknight going to launch a payback no shielded by the Cresselia, and that's going to hurt. Cresselia can fire off Moonblast at the Corviknight, but Corviknight just simply does not care. Moonblast just does not do enough damage. Even 4 Moonblasts, Corviknight still wouldn't care. Another payback is going to connect, and that's going to set up a diabolical farm down for the Corviknight. Another Moonblast comes out from the Cresselia. Cresselia is going to get sand attacked down, and everything is going right for Smudgy in this matchup. Back in comes the Bellibolt. Bellibolt will take the knockout with the Parabolic Charge. but Belly Bolt typically likes to protect its HP, boost up, and then suddenly it's very difficult to get rid of. But this is a half health Belly Bolt, so a Glaciate is still going to do a lot. Belly Bolt is going to bank energy. In the back is going to be Tentacruel. It's going to be Tentacruel versus the Toucannon in the end game. Toucannon going to be shielding first as Tentacruel goes for the Scald. Scald does actually get an attack drop, so a bit of good luck does go the opponent's way. Drill Peck Bait does get the shield. Can Toucannon make it to the Beak Blast? It's going to be close. No, Toucannon unable to get there. Toucannon will put up the shield. Another Scald comes out from the Tentacruel. Toucannon now going to launch the Beak Blast. Is the opponent going to be double shielding? Beak Blast is going to be shielded. Will the opponent go for the Snipe? Yes, they do go for the Snipe. And unfortunately, Toucannon's going to get KO'd by the Parabolic Charge. Back in comes the Kyurem, able to get the farm down. All that's left is the Tentacruel, but Tentacruel is not in Dragon Claw range. The Dragon Claw is going to get this Tentacruel low. Can Kyurem make the Glaciate? No, it cannot. And the opponent does have the Scald. Scald is going to be getting this Kyurem very low. Kyurem unable to hang on, and unfortunately, that game will end in defeat. All in all, I think that Beak Blast is a really nice addition to Toucannon's move pool. Now, Toucannon, with its current moveset, is running Mono Flying. And Mono Flying, obviously, is going to have its drawbacks, as if you run into something like a Steel type or an Electric, you're not going to have any coverage for it. But in these neutral scenarios, having Peck, Drill Peck, and Beak Blast, it honestly offers Shadow Toucannon quite a bit more neutral play than I was expecting. So I do think this is a Comday that is worth playing. I think it's a pretty solid shiny, so even if you don't really care about the PvP aspect of it, it's a pretty good shiny Pokemon to get, as I do believe it's a new shiny, but this is actually a charge attack that is worth getting on Toucannon. So I'm going to be playing this Comday, obviously, when my Comday rolls around in a bunch of hours from now, and I'm going to be looking to try and get one for the Great League and for the Ultra League as well, because Beak Blast is a pretty incredible charge attack. 110 damage, 55 energy, and a guaranteed attack debuff. That is an absolutely cracked move. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys, so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.